Ladies and gentlemen, this is America's Most Wanted.
Chase here, and I'm proud to be a police pup.
Hi, my name is Kyle and welcome to my channel. This is the Conservative Take, and in this particular video is going to be heavy in law enforcement. Well, not really. Maybe lack thereof. Maybe. You'll see what I'm talking about right behind me here, where it says that the Minneapolis City Council unanimously votes to get rid of the police department. I guess that makes sense, right? I guess they figured that they can't figure out the problem. They know in their hearts that the police is evil and can't be trusted. So just get rid of them. Take the baby and the bathwater and kick them out. And we're going to replace that with a community-based solution, whatever that means. I spoke with many law enforcement officers even tonight, and no one has any idea what that means. So we'll cover this article in a second. I want to cover a few more before I get back to this, and I will cover our poor friend Chase of Paw Patrol, I promise. And so this first article comes to us from MRC Newsbusters, and it deals with the late night elites, where they also want to defund the police. But the thing is, these guys like Seth Meyers and Samantha Bee and John Oliver aren't calling the local police on a regular basis. The late night hosts are well compensated for their work, allowing them to live in neighborhoods where violent crime is something seen on their flat panel TVs, not outside their windows. Well, at least not so much more, because they're going to get rid of TV shows. We'll get to that. If Myers calls Southeast DC home, or B commutes from her Hell's Kitchen walk up to the TBS studios, I stand corrected. This is from Christian Toto of MRC, and he cannot be more correct on this. We have people who are in the media, in Hollywood, who are elites, who have the money, who have the means, who live in gated communities, who are protected 24 hours by armed guards, private security, and all of this, but yet they want us to walk in communities with no police, no Second Amendment, just fend for ourselves. Why? Because they don't care. All they care about is driving this narrative so people can go out and be mad and angry and vote to the solution that they think they have. That's all this is about. It's about clicks coming from the West Coast, from Silicon Valley. The business model is now clicks and subscriptions and all of that on sites, not anymore from the print media of long days past. And so this is what we're seeing. And so that is a level of hypocrisy that I just don't understand why people just don't see that happening and just don't call them out for that. Well, I'm trying my best to do so right here. The next story is going to be on President Trump and how he is now being accused of saying that he supports chokeholds. Of course, the media is wanting to say that because anything the president says, they're going to try to twist. Now, I knew this when I heard the actual clip several hours ago. However, I get back to my desk and realize that the media has already spun it in their direction. And I want to just cover that really quickly. Here's this article from PJ Media. It's from Matt Margolis. It says here, no, Trump didn't praise the use of chokeholds. Here's what he actually said. So essentially, Kyle Griffin, a producer at MSNBC, surprise, right? With a reputation for distorting Trump's words, was at it again on Friday when he deliberately took a Trump quote from his interview with Fox News' Harris Faulkner out of context to make it look like he was approving the use of police chokeholds. And so essentially, I'll leave the article here. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but essentially what Trump was saying was, he said, look, I don't like chokeholds, but if you get into a fight and you're being wrestled and you need to take an advantage and that happens, you're not going to release the chokehold and let the bad guy get away and hurt somebody else or get away and hurt you. It is what it is. It's a bad situation, but that's what it is. That was the statement. Check it out for yourself. And I don't understand how the media can continually be put in the situation over and over and over and over again where they deliberately lie on the president, his administration, and be allowed to get away with it. It is totally ridiculous. So this next piece is from Moon Battery. It's a blog. And it revolves around a hate hoax in Maryland. So Jussie Smollett, as we all know, lied about him being attacked, trying to start essentially a race war. He was able to get his charges dropped, which to me was absolutely ridiculous and irresponsible for huge reasons. We see what happened in Ferguson. We see what happened in Los Angeles in 92. We see what happened in Minneapolis. We see what's happening in New York and DC. These things get out of control when you're dealing with false narratives. Jussie Smollett was trying to create a false narrative, and it has a much bigger implication than just himself. It wasn't a victimless crime. And so fortunately, he was not allowed to get away with it. But this guy here in Maryland, it seems, was trying something similar. It says here, considering that most everyone has uncritically accepted the death of a violent career criminal, George Floyd, at the hands of a police as a racist incident, some might think there is no need to fabricate hate crimes to prop up the phony narrative of racial oppression. But habits are hard to break, so incidents like this one from Maryland will probably continue. A 54-year-old Princess Anne man will plead guilty Friday in the case of multiple instances of racist graffiti being found at Salisbury University during the 2019-2020 school year, at the Wilmington County State's Attorney Office said Monday. On June 3rd, officials charged Jerome Jackson with a single count of misdemeanor maliciously defacing property while exhibiting racial animosity, commonly referred to as a hate crime statute. He's accused of being responsible for the racist and sometimes gender discriminatory graffiti that was found on the campus on 5 separate occasions during the past school year. So guys, look, just because you see something doesn't mean that it was the person who it was targeted to. In other words, if you see something that says, I hate black people, it doesn't mean that a white person did it. In fact, there was a church burning a few years back where it was a black person that did it. See, these are called false flags. And sometimes people want to stir trouble and they just want to cause stuff to set off. And this is what happens. So we have to be really careful about this until things are proven in a court of law under cross-examination. I mean, we have to let the system play itself out, people. There's no other way. We can't play this stuff in the media and just assume what we think we read in the media as being true when we clearly see that the media lies. Look what just happened with the article before with Trump and the whole thing about chokeholds. It goes on and on and on. And to react to that is being irresponsible on our part, but it's even more irresponsible on the media that does it. So this next one here is interesting. This is Trayvon Martin's mom, Sabrina Fulton. She's running for office. She says, I think we need more police. Now, as you know, back in 2012, her son Trayvon was killed, and that sets off a big deal, particularly with Black Lives Matter. We all know the story. But here's the thing. She's taken this position of we needing more police. And this flies starkly in contrast to what we're seeing in Seattle and in New York and other places around the country where they're trying to defund the police. The mother of Trayvon Martin is running for county commissioner in Florida and says she disagrees with demands to defund the police that some have called for in the wake of George Floyd's death, according to The Guardian. Fulton has kept a close eye on the protest over the death of George Floyd, her son's death helping spark the Black Lives Matter movement, and told The Guardian she doesn't agree with calls to defund the police. She says, I think we need more police. We need police with better standards and police with better ethics and better work habits. I agree. I agree with her. And some will say, well, she's just saying that because she wants to run for office. No, I think she's saying that because that's what people feel. I think voters feel this way. Polls are saying that most people trust their police, like their police in terms of their local precincts, because we understand what they are, what they do for us. And that's really important. And we understand that it's a small minority of people that are out here doing the bad stuff. Now, statistically speaking, obviously there's people who have pushback on that particular statement, but show me the data that says the opposite, and then we can deal with that. But they're not reacting on the actual data. If they were actually acting on the actual data, like 9 unarmed last year that were killed who were black, and the 19 unarmed white people who were killed by police last year, then that would set a whole different new narrative, especially when you consider just because you're unarmed doesn't mean you're not a threat. Think Mike Tyson. I mean, hello, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure that one out. But there is the notion and there is evidence, obviously, that people can be bad cops. And what I would say that we need to make sure that we have an environment for police officers to flourish, for people to want to be police officers. I mean, why would you want to be a police officer if you're going to be denigrated? Why would you want to be a police officer when you're being spat on and shot at and cursed and have overtime money taken from you, which happened, I believe it was in LA after the riots? They took the money from them. Or having to have them apologize, I think it was Boston, for using the bathroom. These officers are being treated like lower than humans. It's ridiculous. And it makes no sense to fit a narrative so he can win an election, so he can keep people mad at the sake of lives. We have police officers be killed. We had the retired officer killed. I mean, I'm telling you people, this is just getting out of control. And I think it's utterly disgusting. So, I'm not going to harbor on that, but law enforcement officers, I give you much respect, much love, much kudos. And, 99.9% of you are doing the right things, but it's that 1%, man, that can just make it bad, and so that's what's happening. But they take that 1%, spin it out, use a false narrative, and then try and justify it, and then try and defund the police so we can get rid of all of the authority. So now they have free reign, which leads me right into where I want to go right now. And that is the city of Seattle, where we have this group called the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, Chaz. These guys have taken a 6-block section of East Precinct, Seattle, downtown, and have made it into their own sanctuary town, country, whatever you want to call it, sovereign area. It's got a wall. So at least they figured that one out from Trump. So they're trying to do this. They have a little warlord running around trying to control things. They're armed. I think personally they're trying to provoke the president to go in there so they can say, hey man, you know what, man, the president came over here, man. We were just chilling. We were just reading our magazines and we were just planting our gardens and the herbs. Next thing we know, here comes some stormtroopers coming in here, busting things up. And now we got people dead and shot and whatever. We did nothing, man, nothing. That's what they want to push for so they can get this thing spreading. They want to go to Tennessee and do it. Tennessee saying, we ain't having that. And so they're trying to make this model and make it grow. They're trying to be self-sufficient. But at the same time, they're asking the government for more help. They're asking for tents and clothes, and they're asking for ice. Ice? And in their statement, they said they want the good ice. I'm assuming they mean Chick-fil-A ice. But, don't tell them that. Because if you tell them it's Chick-fil-A ice, they may have a little mini riot within there because they can't have that. So keep that on the DL if that actually does happen, that Chick-fil-A does give them some ice. Seriously, this is where we are. These people are really out of control, and the mayor is doing absolutely nothing. The governor is doing absolutely nothing. The mayor said, it's just a block party. They're just chilling. It's no big deal. It could be the summer of love. Summer of love? Well, I know about the summer of love. I also know about the commune movement that happened back in the hippie times and how it wasn't all peace and love. It was robberies and murders and rapes. And just like here, the Seattle police chief says right now that they are having rapes and robberies occurring in the so-called Chaz area, and the officers cannot respond to them. We have a public safety problem here. And eventually we're going to have a sanitation problem. We are running supposedly in the middle of a huge pandemic, and yet these people are able to run free, whatever, and have less than sanitary conditions. All right, so this is getting interesting, to say the least. We will be following this, and we'll get back to you when something changes of any kind of significance. Let's move on to our last segment here. And unfortunately, we're dealing with Mr. Chase. Here he is on the right. Poor guy. He's being attacked. Chase is the police dog from Paw Patrol. It's a Nickelodeon show. It's a great show. It's a wholesome show. I love the show. It's fantastic. It's a show about puppies who go out and solve problems. They have a guy that helps them. He coordinates everything. He said, hey, we need a cop for this one. We need someone to regulate and do the things that cops do. We need a person that can do the things that a construction team would do. We need a person that a fireman can do. We need something that a person who can fly in helicopter can do for aerial support and so forth to move things around. They have other animals, not just these four, and they solve problems. They collaborate, teaches kids how to solve and to think critically. It's a really good show. And to me, if they can go after something like Paw Patrol, then they can go after anything. Simply because they are triggered by seeing a police officer on a dog outfit. Which means if they're going to be triggered by this, they're going to be triggered by every single police show that there is, and they're going to go after it. And so according to Newsweek, you have here, it says, Paw Patrol feels fan pressure to give Chase, the police dog, the boot. It's utterly ridiculous. It's asinine. It's just totally idiotic. And if you think that this isn't serious enough, Paw Patrol themselves have put out their own statement on their Twitter feed saying, in solidarity of our hashtag amplify melanated voices, we will be muting our content until June 7th to give access for Black voices to be heard so we can continue to listen and further our learning. Hashtag amplify Black voices. So obviously Nickelodeon, the team at Paw Patrol are taking this seriously. I'm going to stop here because right now what we're dealing with here is a situation where we've lost control and we have a battle here with culture. We need to have pushback from people who have rational brains who can say, hey, this is not good. This is not going to help anything. We understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to win an election. It's all this is about, to win an election, because they're afraid if President Trump gets another 4 years, their little society, their leftist society of socialism is not going to fare too well. And I'm interested to see what happens in Seattle. I am pretty sure if they do the right thing, take a hands-off approach, keep it contained, it's going to fall flat because socialism has never worked. But of course, when it does fail, they're going to say, well, it didn't work this time, but it could work next time. And that's what they're going to do over and over and over again. It's nothing more than a shell game. That's all it is. So with that, I am done. Tell you what, if you like the content on this channel where I take culture, TV, movies, and filter it right, please hit that like and subscribe button, and please share with your friends as we are trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. We have a Discord server. It's pretty awesome. You can check out that out. All of our content's out there, and you can also interact via voice or chat or whatever. And so with that, as always, please check out some content that we have right here.